This is Henares making your day with part 39 of a book I wrote on Philippine history. Subject, Claro M. Recto, we owe him a lot. And we continue to quote, it was Recto who fathered the Constitution of 1935, a constitution he nourished through the dark days of the McCarthyist post-war years. President Quirino suspended the writ of habeas corpus and exercised emergency powers in 1949. For the same reason, President Marcos declared martial law in 1972, to protect us from communism and to resolve deadlocks in the slowness of the democratic process. Fortunately, Recto's eloquence and logic and courageous Supreme Court nullified Quirino's executive orders, something the Supreme Court, in the absence of Recto during martial law, failed to do. If the memory of Rizal and what he stood for has not yet become dim and meaningless, if Rizal is not dismissed as a good man who was shot by the Spaniards in a struggle that has no longer any significance in modern free society, if our youth are rediscovering their nationalistic past, it is because Recto made Rizal's Noli and the Fili compulsory reading in the schools of the nation, in defiance of religious bigots, Spanish Dominicans and American Jesuits. It was he, Recto, who first questioned our blind subservience in foreign affairs and advocated an independent policy based on national self-interest. If we have moved into the community of nations with the organization of ASEAN, with the recognition of China and Soviet Union and trade with all socialist countries, without joining the group of 77 and the non-aligned nations of the Third World, it is because Claro M. Recto showed us the way. If our Catholic prelates enjoyed the respect and patronage of Rome, it is probably because Recto committed the impropriety of calling attention to the absence of a Filipino cardinal from the only Christian nation in Asia, at a time when the College of Cardinals already had Africans, Japanese, and Koreans among their number. More about this after these messages. This is Henares making your day with part 39 of a book I wrote on Philippine history. Subject, Claro M. Recto, we owe him a lot. We continue to quote, if the Japanese apologized and paid us reparations for their wartime atrocities, it was because Recto successfully opposed the ratification of the Dulles Peace Treaty, in spite of American pressure, until the principle of reparations was accepted. It was Recto who challenged the desirability of foreign investments, American advisors, and export-oriented agriculture. He who first demanded a nationalist industrialization, which he saw as the only foundation for economic independence. There will always be those who will argue otherwise in behalf of the IMF, the Paris Club, and the American multinationals. We will always have our Jesus Stanislao and Bernardo Villegas of the Opus Dei, just as Americans had their Tories and the Latin Americans had their Malinchis. But in the fullness of time, history will judge them as a temporary aberration, a momentary blind spot in the grand design of our nationhood. If the Filipino flag flies over Clark Field and Subic Bay, it is because Recto challenged the American Attorney General Brownell's contention that the United States never relinquished its title over the baselands, because he demanded the revision of the basis agreement to restore sovereignty and dignity to our nation, because he denounced the cynical infringements of American military that instituted in the Philippines a state within a state. If the Filipino can still insist on being the sole determinant and principal beneficiary of this nation's economic progress, it is because of Recto's relentless opposition to American parity rights and insisted that the Constitution he fathered reserved the national patrimony only to the Filipino people. If today we celebrate our Independence Day on June the 12th rather than the American-mandated July 4th, if all the streets, military camps, and parks no longer carry the names of Dewey or Murphy or Ferguson, it is because Recto made us proud of our own people and our own heritage. The only foreign names left are those implanted by Ayala y Compañía. Ayala is CIA in its elitist villages, but those too will pass out of existence some sunlit day. More tomorrow, my dear friends. This is Larry Henares, making your day, saying good day, God bless you. Thank you very much for being with us. Till next time, hasta la bye-bye.